All right, I've gotten several questions about how to use Excel for making graphs for your colorimetry lab, and I realized we kind of had to end up skipping this part, so I wanted to go back and do this for you. So first of all, you need to have your data all set up in a table. So I just put like a generic independent variable. So let's say you're changing the amount of teaspoons of powder in the glass of milk or whatever. So I just said I use 2, 4, 6, 8, 10, 12. So those are just my generic ones. And then, really, I suppose I should have a 0 in there as well. But, again, I'm just showing you how to do this. Then to get your RGB values for all your different samples should be put in place. Once you have those, then it's a matter of calculating out the absorbances. So the formula for absorbance is you type in equals -1 times the log of, and then since I'm doing absorbance red, I select for my red channel. And then you divide by whatever number goes along with your like control. So that'd be like your water or whatever thing has nothing added, or if you're doing your fingernails, maybe it's like you're just a picture of your fingernail with nothing added. If you have no control value, then just divide it by 255, because if nothing was being absorbed, that is the absolute maximum value you'd be able to get. So you could do 255 if nothing else, if you can't figure out what else to use. So close that off, and then you'll have one value. Then to get the rest of them, for red, all I have to do is highlight the column, and then I go Control and then D for down. And then for the rest of the colors, I can highlight that column and I can select the other two columns, so it looks like this. And then I can hit Control R for right. Okay. So now for putting in the plot, ideally for the plot, you would have your two X and Y datas right next to each other, whatever you want to use, and that'll make it easier. So I'll show you that. So for example, for making a plot, what you could do is you can copy this data and put it somewhere else. Whoops, I forgot though that if you do that, it's going to mess up your value. So you'd have to do a paste special. So you got to paste special and just do the values. So then you'll get just the values over. And then this one, since it doesn't have a formula, I can just copy and paste. So if you can get the X and Y data values right next to each other, that makes it easiest, because then all you have to do is highlight it, go to Insert, choose Scatter, just scatter plot with points, and we'll put it in there. Okay, and then once you have your scatter plot with your points in there, amazing that mine followed a line because they were just completely random numbers. But anyways, you can have it a title, and like this title, I think in your paper, it kind of depends on what's going to be in your paper. So you might not want a title right away. Like for example, you just can call this like Figure 1, or if you have like a more creative name. If you're not going to have more than one set of points on a graph, then get rid of this if there is only one set. From up top here, actually what you need to do is you need to choose so that you have titles on here. So like giving this title something like, for example, amount of whatever. Be more specific with yours, of course. And then this title would be like red absorbance. Okay. So that's if you're only plotting out one color value. If you're going to plot out multiple values, I'll show you that. So I'm just going to select one column, and I'm going to go to Data, or sorry, not Data. I'm going to go back to Insert, and then Scatter. Okay, and you can see here that it pulled in my absorbance, but it's just giving me 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7 for the X, even though I had 2, 4, 6, 8, because it didn't know where to get the X data from. So you can right click onto your data points and say select data. So first I'm going to edit this, and it brings up this box. If I click the red arrow, then I can choose, here's where my X data comes from. Just double check that, yep, my Y data isn't from the right place. Okay, And then if I wanted another line, you just hit add. And again, you can give this series a name. So this series would be absorbance green. So I can click where it says absorbance green. And then I can select my data. Whoops, that was from, those should be my Y values. I gotta select my X values. So select your X values, should always be your independent variable. And whoops, what did I, okay, got it. So get my X values. And then go ahead and get my Y values from the green. All right. And I don't know why that keeps getting bigger and bigger. That's my Excel seems to be doing that lately, and I can't fix it. Hopefully yours doesn't do it. And then I gotta do the same thing if I want the blue. So I can say select my range. So this is blue. And then select my X value. So again, that's my 2 through 12. And then go back and get my Y values, which would be easier if I didn't have, there we go, it should be there. Okay, and then just hit OK. And so now I have my 3 different plots. You can see that the rest of them do look random. So I guess the red ones. Now this is kind of confusing because my red is blue and my green is red and my blue is green. So the other thing you might want to do is go in and format your data series, and under marker fill, you might want to choose like to make your red one actually be red, if you're going to do that, and then go through and do the same thing, make your green green. If your things are linear and you want to see how linear are they, you can add a trend line and just make sure you put the equation on the chart, and then maybe the r squared too, also. So hopefully that helps you make your plots.